quick recap. We had mental health to start it off, the road to healing. Then we have breaking into wealth. So how do you tap in to get your mind right, then your finances right? But now it's just like, how do you continue to build community, right? So we're gonna have some amazing Dalitu creators. We have Michelle, who is overseeing all cultural programs of the Dalitu, We the Culture at Meta. And I'm just excited and honored. We also have Jessica Barnes, who's going to be leading more information about that. But I'm going to pass it over to the team and just have them introduce themselves and over the amazing program.
How powerful. Thank you so much for having the Futuro conference. It's my first time here. And someone asked me, like, how does it feel? It feels like love, it feels like community, and I'm so excited that that's all we get a chance to talk about today. So my name is Michelle Mitchell. I head up culture and content equity at Meta. We have Instagram, we have WhatsApp, we have Facebook, we have Oculus, we have all the things that you all know and love, and hopefully as you're building community digitally, and this is a conference about uplifting oneself digitally as well, I hope you're able to use our platforms. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about two programs near and dear to my heart soon, but I wanted to kind of share how we got here, just because I think everyone here is building something, and the story of how you got to where you're going, or the stop on the way, is really important. So in about 2016, 2017, a group of Black and Brown employees at Meta who said we really should be building for people that look like us. I've been at the company 7.5 years, so obviously I'm like 17 now. But a few years ago, programs like these didn't exist, and it was the idea and the energy and the grit of a few people who said, let's get the data to show that Black and Brown creators, users on our platform, are incredibly important to what we're doing and actually are powering our platform. So we first, starting in 2020, launched a program called We the Culture. It's a program really that is a love letter to Black culture. It's a program that we started and invested in a number of shows, and it was all about bringing people to a place where they could tell their own stories. And I know that the New York Latino Film Festival is all about making sure that people have those opportunities to tell their own stories. And in 2020, where we were in the world. We were all shut in. We were looking for a space to express ourselves, literally from our living rooms. And content really took over the world. I'm from a place, from Washington, D.C. It's a place where a lot of times people believe that government policy is going to be the way that you change the world. But I think that storytelling, actually, and that's why I've changed my life. I was a lawyer, actually, and I changed my life after practicing law for 10 years to a space where people to tell their own stories is really the thing that I think is the new revolution, and the way that we're actually going to see the societal change that we want to see in the world. So when you give people the microphone and you say, hey, tell your own story, now they look different in courtrooms, boardrooms, classrooms. We have an opportunity to create, I know we talked about like pathways to wealth earlier, some of you that were here, to create wealth that's going to be generational in nature. And so with We the Culture, we did just that. And it was, I think in 2021, when we first were able to come outside, we had some moments like these where we got people together for the first time. So it's like going from digital to in real life for the first time. When you stand in a room of 200 people, 300 people, 1,000 people, and you realize, wow, we're standing literally in a vision. This came from nothing. It came from the power of the creativity of Black and Brown people. And thankfully, a company like Meta said yes, and we were able to do what we were able to do. So based on the success of We the Culture, we said, okay, now let's look at the next community that we want to invest in and support. And up till that time, Meta had no intentionally designed programs for the Latinx Hispanic community, right? And we, we had our closest, best creative minds from the community come together to really build something that we thought would land well, that would support the needs that existed, and we came up with Daletu, which is, it's been such a joy. If you're in Daletu, raise your hand, say hello. Look at this. There's people in this room that literally are coming together from an idea that was launched. And Daletu is something that we brought into the world literally around this time last year. Some folks saw an application go live saying, do you want to join this new cohort that Instagram is pulling together for this community? And many people answered that call, and it's been kind of a life-changing ride since then. So with We the Culture Daletu, these are communities. What are they about? They're communities where you can find people that look like you that want the same things. And what is that? I always bring it back to what I want in my life, which is I want to matter. I think when I think about the stories that I've had throughout my life, it's like I want somebody to know them. I want to connect with people. I want my life to be meaningful. And I think that's what content creators want. They also want to make a living, right? They want opportunities, whether it's through brand deals or monetization opportunities. I think whether you're a full-time content creator or you're someone that is making time for content on the side, in the meantime, in between time, just like when I was changing my career from law to media, it's like I had to finish up at work at 10 o'clock, and from like 10, 11 o'clock to 2 o'clock in the morning, that's when I was doing my creative work. And I was up again at 7, and it was a grind that I felt was worth it to make it to where I wanted to be. And I know that everyone that's here that's thinking about how you create something in the world that matters, you're working hard for it. But you shouldn't have to pay to get access to the information that can help you get to the next level, right? So within the network, it's all the things that I believe I need for myself, and I hope you believe you need for yourself, which is a network of people that can help you. Whether it's people you can do content with, people that can be like, hey, yeah, I can hold that camera. Hey, yeah, I can help you with your content strategy or your branding. Whatever it is, people that can help you on the vision and mission that you're on. So that's thing one. There are hella people that are awesome in the network. Second thing is definitely lots of opportunities, whether it's Instagram is coming out with a new creator program, or there's an opportunity for, to be interviewed by the press or to come to a premiere or whatever it is. We are constantly putting opportunities within the space. And then I think the monetization opportunities are also an opportunity. So that's what the networks are. I'm hopeful that folks will join and that we'll have an opportunity to have the experience that Christina and Genesis have had as part of our programs. So I want to invite them to the stage to have a conversation. Yeah, we're gonna have a little conversation about how they have grown in their creative journeys, how they have taken the opportunity to, really live that mantra that your network is your network. Because again, I think everything that we need literally is in this room. There is someone that knows someone that knows someone, and these two obviously already know each other, that can help you get where you're trying to go. So let's start with you.
Hi.
Hi,
Everybody. Good to see you. My name is Christina. I am a singer-songwriter. I'm from Atlanta, and I got the privilege of being a part of Daletu when I moved to LA. And I just remember seeing the sponsored thing, and it was like, cool. I'm gonna apply, but yeah, I got to meet so many incredible people, just like Genesis.
Genesis.
What's up, y'all? My name is Genesis. I'm from the Bronx, New York. And I am co-founder of Taller de Rafa. My partner, my brother, couldn't be here today because he's at Nike's World Basketball Festival, as we dropped 4 custom Air Forces yesterday.
Yes.
So thank you so much. We are a brother-sister Afro-Latino creative collective We have a streetwear brand, but we're also an experiential agency. So we specialize in creative services as well as just curating amazing moments. So I'm very excited to be here. And I was also a Dale Do member last year or this year. It's been such a crazy year. What year was it? Crazy.
I'm so glad you both were able to join, and just want to hear a little bit about the kind of content that you're creating and also the kind of community that you're curating. Because I think as we put content into the world, we're building community around that. I would love to hear from you on that.
Okay, so I make music, which is pretty cool. And I kind of moved to California at that time to kind of further my music career because, I've been in Atlanta my entire life. And I just am always trying to create space. I'm Mexican and Puerto Rican. And, I came from a very, I heard a whistle. Yes! And I do tropical pop R&B, and so my music is a big part of my life. I've been performing since I was 12 years old. I was doing reggaeton at a very young age, and I just got the chance to be a part of a community that was open arms and saw me, which I had never really truly felt seen in most of my life, especially coming from Georgia. It's just kind of like I felt like I was finally seen for the first time. And I felt accepted, and I felt loved, and I felt like I had this creative family, And so I got the chance to really push my music out there. And as an independent artist, that really helped me out. I mean, I got to shoot a music video, and I moved to New York. That's amazing. So it's always been a dream come true. I'm thankful, honestly.
The question was what kind of content we make? Oh man, so I'm gonna keep it real. Social media, Instagram used to scare me. There's days that I will wake up and I'm like, I have nothing to say. Just keeping it real. It was overwhelming. It was like, all right, today the popular content is hair. Oh my God, I need to drop hair content. And then I would try to record the content and it didn't work. So I was once a hair influencer. And I was like, all right, I'm on a wellness journey now, so I'm gonna be a wellness influencer. So I started making wellness videos, not very long. That didn't work out. Then I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna do some fashion content. Lasted like 3 days and a half, did not work out. With that being said, the moment I tapped into my story and who I am and what was normal to me, which is being a girl from the Bronx that has a cool ass family that we work together every day to create garments, pieces, experiences that are connected to moments in our community, that's when it all clicked. So I would like to say the type of content that I made today is just content that tells my story and my community stories. It ranges from so many different things. So that's where I'm at now. It's been the longest type of content that I've been making. So.
I love that you talked about the journey of what you started doing versus what you're doing now, because a big part of content creation is experimentation. And it's like, some people say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And it's like, well, actually, this is the Futuro conference, right? So if you're not thinking about the future, you're living in the past. So as a content creator, always think about what could be the next thing for you and experiment in that. It sounds like you've been doing just that. I have a question about the platforms that you're using, especially Instagram, Facebook, Threads, if you're dabbling in Threads yet. And we're going to be talking to Jessica Barnes really soon about all of the best ways to leverage the platform to win, if you're trying to win. But I want to know how you all are leveraging various platforms to get your experimentation out there and to connect with people and how it's going.
So, like I said, social media used to overwhelm me. I have to do one at a time. I'm not the type of girl that has 3 different social medias one at a time. So Threads, I have not tapped into that yet, so we won't speak on Threads. But Instagram, that is the one that I've been using. And for me, if you go to my personal page, I literally have 3 followers. I don't have a lot of followers, but the followers that I have are of substance. Those are the followers that have allowed me to enter rooms that made me feel seen and the rooms that gave me opportunities. So for me, Instagram has allowed me to connect with people that are my family now. I've built a community, and it's so cool to have a space where it's like, okay, maybe I'm not reaching out to the millions, but those 4,000-5,000 people, that's where it's at. And they've been rocking me since day one. Now for our brand site, our brand page is more followers, but that one is more so like, us sharing our stories. But Instagram has become that comfort space now for me personally.
Yeah, mine's pretty similar. I feel like I answered messages through Instagram than my own text messages at this point. So Reels, I mean, those have been an essential part of my growth and just being consistent with getting my music out there. And, especially with visuals, with like anything that I do, it's a big part of really creating that community, like you said, and just like really having, those followers that are going to ride with you. You know what I mean? I've been on Instagram since 2012. Don't look at my age. Yeah. But so it's definitely been an essential part of like myself as an artist. I've grown, I've shifted, I've gone through different parts of me, and Instagram has been the one platform that I can rely on,
I love that. She said the C word. I don't know if you guys caught it. Who caught it? She said the C word. Consistency. She said consistency, and I want to highlight that just because I think the platforms that you're working on or through definitely give you what you give them. And so consistency in terms of your content strategy is a major key, which Jessica's going to remind us of as well. But you also talked about you both talked about Instagram as being a place where you can really connect with your community. I guess one question I have that goes back to the program too is like, pre-Valley 2, post-Valley 2, how did your perspective change? And how did your content game change as a result of the training and education resources?
Before Donna 2, Instagram felt like work. As you all know, I've done every single type of content that you could think of. But with Donna 2, the coolest part is that you're in a classroom. It's the way that I see it. You're in a classroom with like so many different type of creators, and no one's content is the same. So for me being half of a brand, my content was not looking like hers. So for us, it allowed us to really tap into our story as two creatives from the Bronx, what made more sense, and what type of people we wanted to tap into. So being on the brand side, being a streetwear brand, our focus was creating content that would call attention of other brands that we wanted to work for or work with. So we started to study those Instagram pages. We started to study what kind of trends they're following. And little by little, we started to mirror. It's like, okay, these type of sneakers are cool now. Okay, let's see what type of photos they're taking of these sneakers and perhaps apply it to our type of like clothes and et cetera and accessories. So that for me, for Dollar 2, it was like feeling comfortable to hone in to that specific thing versus trying to do what all of my classmates were doing at that time.
And I'm hearing also from you that, like, especially if you consider yourself a business, which, it's like, I'm a creator, I do content that's true to me, but I'm also a business. It sounds like within Dali 2, you started looking at content like with a business eye.
Right. Because to be honest, like, my brother and I, we're not gonna put a skit for y'all. That's just not who we are. But what we were gonna do was tap in with these brands, and we've tapped in, like tapped in
Like
with these
tap
brands.
all the way in.
With me, I think I just started to create like art and posts with more intention. I think more or less I would just post just to post, and I really wanted to be intentional about what I was posting, just so that people like knew me, and Daletu really also, like, especially meeting so many different creators that were a part of it. It was just like, they were never afraid to really be seen. And I admired that, and I was like, okay, like, it really just helped me grow more into myself and not be so, because I feel like the pandemic kind of like washed away of that for me, And it was really hard to kind of get out of my shell again, because I know a lot of us were kind of locked up. It was really hard for us to kind of like, get back into the world and be like social or just feel like, the way that we used to. And I feel like being a part of that, it opened that back up for me. And so my post, I felt like, or even just like putting anything out there, I was like, I want to be intentional, but I also want to be myself,
High key content creators sometimes, even though you can see someone on the internet and they're just out there doing this and that, they also might be actually shy and kind of uncomfortable approaching people and saying hello, or so sometimes you get a bunch of content creators in a room and it feels like an 8th grade dance where everybody wants to dance but like no one's dancing, and it takes someone to just like break the ice and be like, hey, it's okay, we all feel kind of crazy with the camera, like, so if there's anyone in the audience who's like, I really want to be a content creator, I have 2 followers, how do I get from like my 2 followers to like 20,000? It's going to be like getting uncomfortable a little bit and saying, okay, I'm not afraid of going out there, tapping into like my true vision of who I am and that authenticity, but then also letting go of the fear and saying, okay, I can actually just start to put out content and use that C word consistently with intentionality, which is just fantastic. So you're 2, I think of Michelle Obama's book, Becoming, because it's like we're all in the stage of becoming something, but I think that you all have reached at least a plateau on the way to the destination that you're on that is, I think, just rich with like the accomplishment of excellence. Like you've become excellent in some way, and so you're seeing that success. As we close out this session, this portion of our segment, I guess, what does it feel like to have done that community with others, and what are you thinking about for the future?
It was always written. It feels so good to be doing things for my community, with my community, to do what I love for people that I love with people that I love, if that makes sense. To do things with intention. The more you do things with intentions, the more you bump into it. I know it's not part of the question, but in 2021, I lost my entire shop. It was a hurricane, and my brother and I lost our entire screen printing shop. And I remember for a moment being like, what, this is it? Maybe this is God or the universe telling me that, it's time to close shop. Literally 2 days later, my boyfriend then, was like, what, let's start a GoFundMe. And he started a GoFundMe, and within 4 weeks of us losing over $100,000 worth of equipment, because no one told me that I needed business insurance, by the way. Literally 2 weeks of us losing everything, our community opened us up again. And from there, it was when I vowed that no matter what I do in life, it has to be within community. So with that being said, lean into your community, and lean into what makes sense to you, your story. I'm gonna put you on real quick. Like, these corporations, these brands, they could come up with all the strategies, all the marketing, all this like tactical, logistical things, but they don't got your stories and they need them. So tap in. Don't be on something like, hey, how can I help? No, this is what I can bring you guys. And Dalitu definitely taught me that, of instead of how can I, this is what I can do. And 95% of the things that I've accomplished has been us tapping into our stories. So that's what I would love to leave you guys with.
Love that. Like she said, it kind of like, I can definitely write off that it felt like it was written. I was in a period after the pandemic where I kind of just wanted to give up on everything, and that meant like music and creativity, and I'd been doing music my entire life. And when I moved to California, that was on a whim of just like, I'm just gonna do this, no job, nothing. And 2 months in, I got the Dalitu program, and it was one of those things where I was like, wow, like when you really speak things into existence and you allow yourself to fall into that, And I heard a panelist talking about that, where you there's so much power in words, and I just consistently told myself, I kept saying, "You're gonna get through this, whatever it is." And it really inspired me to get back into making music again and being an artist and really putting my story out there, and how I just really, like you said about community, and community is such a big part of this program, and it's such a big part of everything that we do. And I don't think I would have been able to even be here today if it wasn't for my community, and it wasn't for the Dali Do program, or it wasn't for any, like, my mom, my family, anything. It's just, it's one of those things where, like, I am thankful every day, and I have the biggest smile on my face because of these people here, these people in the crowd, and I'm just so thankful. And yeah, just happy to have met you guys.
Wow. I think there's so much energy in this room. There's so much power in our stories. There's so much that I think we can all feel grateful for. And I'm just so excited about the future that we're creating together, because anything in life comes from a little idea one time that, like, you think about one time, you think about it again, you start to put that action together, you tell that secret to someone else. They see that, they hear that, they support you. That's the community that they're talking about. And I'm just so proud of everything that you're both doing. And I know you're going to be fantastic as you're continuing to lean into the power of your story and community to get there. So thanks for joining today.
Thank you so much.
So as we continue our session, you can go this way, you can go that way, whichever way, because there's no right way, really. So as we think about the future, I think it's important for us to have a little bit of a blueprint and a little bit of information on the trends and what's next and what you should be doing as you think about your digital strategy. So I want to bring up Jessica Barnes, who works with. Okay, so Jessica is amazing. You know what? Sit right in the middle, because I'm gonna leave the stage in a moment. Oh yeah, please. You can stand. You can move around. Again, there's no right way. She's about to drop some major keys for everyone, but I just wanted to just say thank you, because we're a platform that has 3.5 billion people actively, creating content, and there are very few people that get to meet a Jessica to actually share information on what they should be doing. And I wanted to just share that, like, within the network, by way of culture that it do, you get access to folks like Jessica all the time to understand what you should be doing to be successful. And again, you shouldn't have to pay for it, so you're gonna get some major keys for free. Take it away, Jessica.
Yes, thank you. Hi. I feel like I need to stand because I gotta give some energy over here. My name is Jessica Barnes, and talking about full circle moment, this is crazy because I know Calixto since 2014. I attended one of his very first New York Latino Film Festival in Washington Heights. And in 2018, I actually hosted the Futuro. And my girl Natalia booked me. I was a full-time entrepreneur running around. My background is in radio and TV. I spent 10 years as a radio host. And I was the first Afro-Latina to ever grace Radio Disney. Yes. Dominicana from Santiago. Santiago City in the house. We got any Dominicans? Puerto Ricans? Panamanians? Colombians? Ecuadorians? I love it. I just want to shout out Calixto because he is an incredible human being. I feel like he's always so humble. And I call him the GOAT. Like, honestly, every person that walks into this room walks away with connections, opportunities, and I thank him for believing in this Dominicanita and allowing me to host several events in the past. So thank you so much for believing in me. And this is definitely a crazy full circle moment. So now I'm back as the Partner Solutions Manager that I am at Meta. I cover two verticals, music and sports, and I lead most of our scale education program, teaching record labels, teaching hip hop, like Snoop Dogg and the Diddies of the world. I teach them on how to utilize the platform to the max. And I want to share some best practices and feature updates that we have going on. And hopefully you will walk away learning un poquito más de Instagram and our new feature products, which we're going to talk about threads, broadcast channels, and hopefully you will utilize it to your best advantage. But just know there's so many best practices. So please, you can follow me. Make sure you follow We the Culture, because it's an ongoing practice, right? We gotta stretch ourselves. We gotta make sure that we're consistent, right? Like that's a word that I keep hearing today, consistency. Consistency is key. So how many of you have heard about threads? Oh, I love it. So is everybody on threads? Raise your hand if you're on threads. I love it. I'm so happy. So threads is our latest app powered by Instagram. It is a way for you to communicate globally. It is a way for you to share your ideas, to share photos, videos, connect with your followers. And what's so important about threads is that the earlier you get on threads, the better it is, right? Because you're able to connect and build a whole new community that's not even on Instagram. Okay, on threads, there's so many things that we're updating. So recently, you can actually follow a thread without following the person. So you'll get notifications on threads. Let's say you don't want to follow everyday news, right? CNN. But you want to follow an actual news that's happening. You can actually, I guess we'll call it a little bit of lurking. So you can follow the whole thread, but not necessarily follow the actual account. Also on threads, it is good for you to be mindful of content, right? Sometimes you don't want to continue to post on Instagram all the time. Posting on threads is content. It's updating your followers. It's showing them that you're active, that you're here at the New York Latino Film Festival, and the show from We the Culture just spoke. So think about it as, well, if I don't have a photo shoot this week and I don't have pictures to post on Instagram, I can get on threads and show my followers that I'm active, right? People want to know that you're still in the present, that you're on the go, that you're communicating with them. So I want you guys to know that threads is also a way where you can connect with other people. I think people forget that connection is everything. Your network is everything. So don't be afraid to reach out to a brand on threads, which right now is the best season for you to get on threads, because we have so many brands that are communicating even with creators directly. And it's a way for you to not feel afraid to be like, you know what, I'm going to shoot my shot. So shoot your shot. This is a great way to connect with people outside of your network, and make sure that you guys follow Adam on threads. We now have threads on Instagram where we're constantly updating you guys on what's new. All right, so let's follow the next one. So this is how some of our music partners have announced their arrival on threads. One of my favorite ones is actually the Backstreet Boys, which got obviously Zuck's attention. And another way that you can utilize threads is by announcing your album. You know, we have a lot of actors here. Tease people, let them know like what's happening. This is a great way to do so. Next slide. Broadcast channels. How many of you know about broadcast channels? I love it. I love it. Broadcast channels is a way for you to deepen your connection with your fans and your followers. This is what I love to call your day one fans. This is where you connect with them, you share information, you share those photos that you don't want to share on your feed. You can send voice memos to your followers. Like, how many of you have been following maybe like an artist for such a long time, but you don't even know, like, you don't know how they sound, or you don't know their voice? This is like a surprise that you can send to them, like, hey, I hope you have a beautiful day. Like, so many people that I follow that are motivational speakers are using broadcast channels to share their daily affirmation with their fans. So keep in mind that broadcast channels is your day one fans that are there to support you. It is a great way to connect with people. And I have to note that your fans are only able to like share emojis. There is talks about like having it a way where they can communicate and share comments, but right now it's also based on emojis reactions. So I want you guys to keep in mind, like if you're a musician, if you're an actor, open a broadcast channel. Make sure that you're connecting on a daily basis with your fans who are eager to know what you're doing. And remember that consistency is key. I see so many people that are like, well, I'm gonna start fresh all over. I'm gonna delete all my photos. And I'm like, no. Please don't do that. Like, people respect the journey and people want to know, what were you doing before that has led you to where you are now? So that's a best practice to keep in mind. Like, don't delete your photos, please. And keep going. So yeah, we'll go to the next slide. Yep, broadcast channels. These are some of the highlights. Some of my favorite broadcast channels that I follow. Shakira, we have Raul Alejandro, Taylor Swift, and we also have La Familia J Balvin. So J Balvin actually does a really good job with his broadcast channels. He connects with his fans by sending daily affirmations. He teases his albums and singles and does polls where his fans are constantly sending emojis like, yeah, we want to do this. Do you want to have a single on this day, or do you want an album on this day? So this is a great way to keep your fans engaged. And remember, like, Instagram is based on like what you would like it to be. Are you on Instagram for engagement, or are you on Instagram to connect with other like-minded people, or are you on Instagram just to like showcase your talent? So I believe that broadcast channel is a great way to invest in that deepened connection with your fans and showcase them a whole different side that you normally don't showcase on your feed or your story, which we're gonna get on a little bit later. Next slide. Keep your account safe and secure. I cannot stress this enough. For a lot of people that get on Instagram and their page gets verified, those accounts are prone to get hacked. So I always tell people, please make sure you turn on your two-factor authentication. Make sure you have a strong password, especially once you get your accounts verified. Next slide. Telling your story on Instagram. I'm pretty sure you guys have a pretty good idea of what it is to be on Instagram, right? We have your curated highlights, which is Instagram feed. Your feed, I like to call my Instagram feed like my highlighted moments, where I showcase the things that I'm more prone to be curated, right? Like, I want people to know that I am an author, that I work on Instagram, that I love fashion, that I have a love for sneakers. So this is like where you would actually curate all of those highlighted moments. Stories is more like you're behind the scenes, people get to see your personality, you're on the go. Actually, a good best practice for stories is that don't just post one story. Make sure your stories are consistent. You have at least 5 stories that people are able to connect and engage. All right, Reels is more like your short videos, right? These are like your edited videos where you're doing all of like the dance challenges and like you're connecting with other, creators and doing collaboration on Reels. So think about more like, this is where I entertain my followers. Live, I love live because all the Gen Zs are on live. But remember the pandemic, we had a lot of people going on live and like there was like a spike of like engagement, and all of a sudden a lot of people stopped. And then they're questioning like, why is my Instagram following declining? Because remember, during the pandemic, you were doing all of your live videos. People were coming to your page because they were actually seeing you every single day and connecting with you through live. So live is a great way. If you were doing that during the pandemic, keep at it. Keep at it and continue to engage your followers through your live connection. All right, and we have notes. Notes is my favorite because I love sharing not only like that I love reggae music, but I love sharing like a positive thought. Like I'm very like, I love affirming, right? Like today will be great. You're excellent. This is a great way to kind of like tweak a little bit and show people like, what are you thinking in the moment? Or maybe you're flying to LA and you want other creators to know that you're in LA. So this is a great way to notify your fans in the moment, what are you doing? All right, next, audio banners. So I mentioned I'm on the music team, right? I love that we get to curate the audio banner because it is a way that we as the music team get to identify new artists, we feature them, and we also share like the latest songs for creators and people to actually use for their reels. So this audio library banner is actually curated every week by our music team, and it is a great way for you to discover new artists. All right, next slide, content to avoid. I feel like we kind of have a couple of creatives in the room and they know that those blurry photos are not it. Sorry. Horizontal, please. I can't stress this enough. Horizontal photos is a must. And also, third-party watermarks, like those TikToks. No, please, we want to see originality. We want to see authentic content on the platform. And we want you to remove those watermarks that are just not friendly to the eye. All right. Last slide, I believe. Yeah, and then we want you guys to continue to support and follow the network. Please scan the QR codes, the network by Dale Tu and the network by We the Culture. These are great platforms that you can connect with. And I also want to mention that a beautiful part of like being part of these two programs is connecting not only with like-minded people, but actually collaborating. I can't stress this enough. The person that has similar content like you should be collaborating with them. Don't shy away. Let people know that you love their content and reach out. Collaborate, collaborate, collaborate. That's why we have collaboration tools for people to connect together, come together, and create magic together. Yes.
Like we're collaborating now.
Yes. I can't thank you enough. Thank
So
you.
much. Like I think that what you share is going to really help people to level up. It's a thank you moment. Make sure that you got those QR codes. If you didn't, we'll make sure that you get them. And a little plug that we have a little after party on Broome Street tonight. So if you want to know about that, check my story. The information's there. Okay. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you guys.
Thank you for doing
Thank you.